Hiya folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. So today I'm back down on Den's pond, mostly because all the rivers have been flooded for about the last 2 months, and some of the other ponds I fish are sort of chocolate brown colour. Den's pond is quite a nice colour, and I'm not sure what I'm going to catch because, as you may know if you watch the channel regularly, it's winter here now. It's fairly cold. I've got a t-shirt on and I've got my top on, and I've also got a coat in the car. But I've left it until now. Now is 11:15 in the morning to warm up a little bit, because I didn't want to come out at sort of dawn and not catch much, and also be cold from the frost. So anyway, I'm down here on Den's pond. It's cold. It's quite a nice day, but it's going to be windy, so I've got the wind in my face. Not a problem. But today, the total amount of bait I'm going to use is 1 slice of bread and, I don't know if you can see these, but 100 pellets and 100 pieces of corn. And to be honest, if I use all that, I'll be quite surprised. So anyway, that's all I've got. If the fish do feed like mad and I've got this all wrong, well, I'll probably have a good first half an hour and then I'll have to pack up because I've got no more bait. But really, this is just to show you that you can catch fish when it's cold on very, very little bait. Tackle wise, it's about 3 feet deep, as you can see from the float to here. 3 feet-ish. The float I've put on is a 0.5 of a gram homemade float with a wire stem for some stability. There will be probably a little bit of tow because of the wind, and the wind is expected to get up later, and that's why I've got the 0.5 of a gram instead of sort of a 0.3 or 0.4 of a gram, because otherwise it'll probably get dragged out the way. So tackle wise, at the bottom end, hang on, let's just get this off here. Right, I've got a size 14 hook on. Whoops. It's a B911, I think. I'm not absolutely sure. I think it's B911. And the hook length is 0.18, because the fish in here, yeah, they're still quite reasonable and they're uneducated, so not a problem. I've got a 8-inch hook length there, and I've got a little number 8 telltale shot down the bottom, and I've just put 3 number 6s on and a strung bulk down here. That's just to sort of combat the wind and the tow. Got a back shot on further up, which is number 6, and the elastic is the slick 12 to 14. Normally I use a 14 to 16. Let's just get that a bit wetter. It is brand new in there today, so I might need to retension that a bit by the look of things. I'll do that in a second before we get started. But I have plumbed up. I already know what it's like. It goes down a little bit here, then it's pretty much flat all the way out there, getting deeper by fractions at a time. So I'm going to fish out at 9 meters, which should be comfortable for the pole, and I'm going to have a swim sort of at 1 o'clock and a swim at sort of 11 o'clock, and there'll be about 3 or 4 meters separation between them, so I can juggle between the two. I'll probably feed a little bit down here. There's a big, I don't know if you can see it down there, there's a big sort of bunch of reeds there, and it is quite shallow, but you know, we've got the wind coming at us, we've got some sun, it's not too cold, so I will keep feeding that a little bit, and I'll put a rig on later on for that, and we'll have a go down there as well. But to start off with then, I'm going to put a single piece of corn on the hook, and I'm going to put a pole pot on, just a tiny little pot, and I am going to be feeding with the pot today. Sorry, my finger's still not quite right from when I damaged it. Ow, 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 ow. Right, sorry about that. What a wimp. Sorry, that's that finger there, I damaged it recently and it's not been too good. So I'm going to put 2 pellets in and 2 pieces of corn, and we're going to ship out, and then I might probably have a cup of tea because it might take me a short while to get a bite. Okay. Let's get this out there then. Feels like ages since I fished with a pole. I had that couple of months off, of course, where I damaged that finger and couldn't really fish, but there we go. Just put that in, sort of there, pull the float across, and I'm going to use the pole rest today because I'm feeling lazy as usual, and also arthritis in this thumb. But anyway, maybe lift that up a little bit there. Just see how we go. Put my sunglasses on, get my hat on, maybe have a cup of tea and see what happens. And the time now, by the way, is 20 past 11 in the morning. I'm probably only going to have a shortish session, 3-4 hours maybe, but hey, it's actually quite a nice day. Now it's about 5 minutes in, and all I'm going to do is just repeat the process of feeding and see how we get on. Oops. Again, it'll be 2 pellets and 2 bits of corn. That's all. And I will feed the swim to the left as well. I reckon normally, hopefully, about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes or so before I start getting bites. So not unduly concerned if I don't get one straight away. As I say, it is cold and it is winter. It's surprising how few 100 pellets and 100 bits of corn actually is, isn't it? But yes, I did count them for you guys. Every single one. How sad am I? Okay. As I say, I'm fishing at 9 meters and I'm set up so I'm probably about 2 inches over depth, and that's all. If this wind gets up a bit further and starts to drag things around, I might have to reconsider, maybe go a bit further on the bottom, see how we go, make some adjustments. But I'm looking forward to a cup of tea in a second, actually. You might have noticed I'm putting the bait in with the pole pot rather than with a catapult, and the simple reason for that is that when it's a blustery wind like this, and it's going to get even stronger, trying to use a catapult and get the accuracy I want, which is to get the bait right around the float, just ain't going to happen, is it? And not only that, if I put pellets and corn in at the same pouch, obviously they fly slightly differently and they'll sort of want to land further than the other, and you then have to do it twice, and so might as well just do it through the pole pot while we can. Well, as expected, about 25 minutes in, and no bites yet. I've been feeding the 2 and 2 every sort of 5 minutes or so, and as you can see, I'm now trying the left-hand swim, and still nothing. So again, I wasn't expecting bites for about half an hour, but sometimes in this place I've noticed that they do rather like bread. So I'm going to give that a go, and somehow I managed to get my rig tangled up. There we go. So I'm just going to use an 8mm piece of bread, and I'm keeping that. 8mm piece of bread, just punched out, and just that's it on the hook. I'll keep putting in the 2 bits of corn and 2 pellets at this point. But generally, once you get them going, you don't need to feed quite so much. Not that this is much, obviously. Right. Okay. And that's the trap set. I do find that bread does work really well in here in the winter. Not so much in the summer, but certainly winter. Let's get that up off there a little bit. Oh, is that a bite? You wouldn't chuckle, would you? You would not chuckle. It's only a small fish, but hey. I told you, oh, and it fell off. Well, I didn't deserve that one, obviously. The fishing gods weren't with me. But hey, that was a bite, wasn't it? So it looks like they're not looking particularly for the corn. They're looking more at probably pellets and bread. Now the pellets I've got are Den's homemade pellets, and so you can't put them on a hook unless you put them on a band, and I haven't got a band set up, so I'm not doing that. So we'll just go with the bread, it'll be fine. But hey, isn't that amazing? Just goes to show you need to have alternatives. Hey! Well, who knew, Den? Who knew? I knew. Not a big fish again. In fact, kind of small, really. But first fish of the day, and I'm happy. I wish I could just get my fingers to work, that's all. Barbless hooks, but yeah, nice little fish. Might as well stay on the bread then. It seems to be what's producing the goods. What I'm going to do this time to just be a little bit more efficient, it does put a bit less feed in, but to be a bit more efficient, I'm going to feed just either the left hand swim or the right hand swim as I go out. Saves me having to go out and then come back in again. So I fed the left hand swim just a few seconds before I caught that very first fish, and I think I've got one or two down here now, so I'll just concentrate on this one just for the moment, and then next time I'll put some feed into the left hand swim. I don't want to catch too many and spook them all from this one, so it is a question of, we didn't, hook one, catch it, and then maybe move to the left hand side and then the right hand side, obviously, just alternating the two swims. But within that half an hour that I said, that's us getting one or two bites. Just going back to tackle for a second, I could obviously gone for a smaller hook like a 16 or an 18 or something like that, and gone for a medium or even potentially a fairly fine wire hook. Same with line, I could have gone down to sort of a lot lighter than I am doing, but this is a natural venue. The fish never see anybody's bait except mine, and I don't come down very often. So they aren't tackle shy in the slightest, and on that basis, that's why I've gone for this sort of heavier tackle today. There are some quite big fish in here though, so again, you never know, do you? Okay, so I haven't had a bite this time on that right hand swim, so what I'm going to do is literally come out, because I may have spooked them, and just go to this left hand swim and see if we can pull one, maybe two out of that one, and then just rotate like I was saying before. Well, nothing on the left at all, so I'm going to just bring it in. I'm going to put some bait in the pot, I'm going to feed it, and then I'm going to go back out onto the right hand side. Just because I haven't had a bite yet doesn't mean to say they won't come there. As I say, 8mm punch. Just hope my bread doesn't dry out in the box. Okay. So at least we're having a few. Okay, back to this one for a minute. We'll need to get some feed into this one shortly. I don't know if that's a bite. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, that's a bigger fish. He's off to my right. This old 12 to 14's pulling out well, isn't it? Come on, fish. Don't know what snags we've got down to the right these days. Oh yeah, he's decent enough, isn't he? Just take me time a little bit with him. Come on. There's a load of weed just down in front of me. It's like a sort of a stringy sort of stuff. You've got to be careful they don't dive into that. There we go, that'll do. Got some people swimming dogs over there, so just hope they don't come across my way. And he's a decent fish, this one. Just inside his mouth. Chuck that out. And let's have a quick look. There you go, look, he's decent, isn't he? I just try not to keep him out too long. Whew. Put him back. Right, well that's 3. And we'll get some feed in there this time. I think I'm going to have to tighten it. See what I'm on about. Just tighten this elastic up down at this end first, and I'll be back to you in a sec once I've done that. Actually, for those of you that are fairly new to pole fishing, I've got a little stop, or whatever you want to call it, on this end. Hang on, try and get the scissors in. There we go. So all I'm doing, there's the puller bung. I've just moved the cap there. This is actually a Stonfo connector, which I use rather than the ones that come with it, purely because I've got a few. This will take off a few inches, wet it, just tie an overhand knot and then pull down that way. Ouch, fingers hurting. Right, make sure you're nice and tight, then just cut off. Must get a new pair of scissors. Oh dear, definitely got to get a new pair of scissors. Right, so there we go. Just pull the cap back down over, and that's it, and then you just nice and tight. Right, that tends to happen when it's new elastic like this is, and you've had 1 or 2 decent fish pulling back on you. It just gives it that little bit of extra length, which you just need to chop off. Right, better get some feed out there, but you can see I'm catching with hardly any feed at the moment, so going according to plan so far. We'll put 1, like 2.5 then, a couple of those in. As I said, sometimes they just don't seem to want sweet corn, which is unusual, but that's the way it is. I am just going to feed the left hand line this time. I know I said I was going to do it alternately, but I am going to feed that one, I think, just because I'm feeling it's sort of been left out a little bit. Don't worry about the bread, it'll stay on for a short while. A lot of people worry that it's going to fall off. Well, yeah, eventually it might do, but for the most part it does stay on quite well, because I did compress it a little bit as I put it on as well, just to get some of the air out of it. Turns it more into a sort of a doughy paste than punch bread, but it works for me. Well, because we've had that slightly bigger one from that right hand swim, I think I'll give the left hand swim another quick go, just to see how things progress. Oh. And the wind's forecast to change direction slightly today, which is still going to come this way, but it's forecast to go more that way as well, so that'll be another little challenge for us. They're playing with the dogs over there. It's a public park here, so you do get all sorts down here. That's there's definitely a bob. There we go. Oh, that left hand swim is just not producing. The right hand one, it's the only place I can get a bite. Still feeding just at those reeds over there. It's about sort of 8-9 metres or so, probably 8 metres. Again, this is a reasonable fish, but it did slow down a little bit, even to the right, and I suspect that's because I hooked that slightly bigger fish. Now, this one's actually heading for the reeds on the inside, which you don't really want. Come on, fish. There it is, he's moving out now. That's all right. Just keep him down in front of me here a bit. I'm never sure if he's going to go for all this weed. It grows out about sort of 2 or 3 feet from the bank in places. Just, you can probably see it here. Come on. Here we go. Not as big as the last one, but bigger than the first one. Oh. Oh. Why do they always do that? Come on. Get out of there. This time? Yeah. Well, at least we're catching. It is winter. And it cost me about, I don't know, probably 30 pence in bait, probably. Actually, if you think about it, one slice of bread, which you might well have thrown away after the loaf had gone down a little bit. 100 pellets, which probably cost twopence because I buy them in 20 kilo sacks. Some sweet corn, which, yeah, all right, that's probably cost me a little bit more, but if I put that in water and put it in the fridge, that would last a reasonable time. Now, obviously, that's the thing. If you put sweet corn in ground bait and then put that in the freezer, it does dry out and float. But if I was to put the sweet corn in, literally in water and submerge it, would that work? Because that way you could use that same tin of corn over and over and over again. I mean, I don't know how many kernels of corn there are in a can of sweet corn, but it's got to be more than a few hundred. So yeah, this has cost pennies so far, literally pennies. I'm still feeding the sweet corn with it because you never know, they may come to it later, and I've got it, so there we go. What's that now? Is that 4? Something like that. And I'd say we're probably just under an hour in. It's not fast and furious, but it's perfectly acceptable for winter. Quick check of the clock. It's just coming up 12:30, so I've been going for what, just over an hour, and had those 4 fish, and I think it's going to be time for lunch in a minute. Still can't get a bite on the left hand side, still feeding it. They're coming from this side okay, and as I say, it's a nice day and I'm retired. Oh, have another bite. Yay! Make that 5 fish. He's off to the middle. Still feeding the same sort of thing, which is 2 bits of corn and 2 pellets. And as I say, I really don't know if the corn's doing much, but it's not seeming to be doing any harm, so we'll keep doing the same thing. Come out there. It's funny how I can't get a bite on that left hand swim, isn't it? Not as big this time. There you go. Probably, I can just get my hands around him, so we'll call him a 1.5-pound-ish. But now it's time for a quick lunch. Oh, feet. Come on, fingers, work. It's only in the corner of his mouth and I can't get the thing out. But yeah, nice enough fish, look. Cheese too hot. I think while I'm waiting for that to cool down a little bit and have some lunch, I'll just feed these swims again. If I was fishing a match, I'd have probably started a bit shorter and worked my way out, but it's only a short session, 3 hours or so, and 9 metres is usually where I catch most of my fish, so that's why I've done it this way today. Obviously in match circumstances you'd be doing different things to this, but I'm not, so I'm not. Okay, I'm going to just use the left hand swim again just for a second. I've got bait on, just want to wait for that tea to cool down, just in case. I don't really want to keep catching from that swim all the time, because obviously, especially in winter, you know, you can spook the fish, so just alternating between the two is a better option if you can do it. That'd be right, wouldn't it? I haven't finished eating my sandwiches. I was actually going to not fish while I was on my sandwiches, but I thought it'd cool down a bit, but yep, wrong again then. What I think I might do in a minute is put a rig out to that area by the reeds there, where it's fairly shallow. I've been doing this for, what, an hour and a quarter I suppose now, maybe a bit less. But hey, the fish are often bigger down there, so we'll see. Come on, fish. Having a few though, aren't we? I think I'll just refeed out there and on the left hand side and then go straight out to the reeds. Probably aren't any there just yet, but you never know. It is lunchtime. God, he's fighting well, isn't he? Come on, fish. Straight in. Yay. He's decent, him. Probably about £4 or so. Okay, so as I say, we'll feed and then we'll go fish over there for a minute. No, nothing down there yet. See how we go. But they may or may not turn up there. Anyway, we go back to the original plan. No point in wasting those two. I will try bread down there at some point, but definitely not there just yet. Okay, let's go back to bread on this one. Because it's cold and because the bread's in this blue box, the Preston's box, it's actually staying quite fresh, so that's handy. Oh, let's get some pellets in. A couple of bits of corn. Just make sure I'm not tangled around the end of that. It's just sticking out a little bit again. Sometimes you have to just trim your elastic a little bit more, because having had those fish, it's had the stretch and it just elongates it a little bit. Right. Where are we? Ah, yeah. That's where we're fishing. Might just give this a couple of hours rather than 3 or 4 today. Feeling a bit chilly. Although the wind's dropped a little bit, which is quite good. It's got to be a bite. Hey, tiny little fish. Well, I've had 2 or 3 more fish since the one I had at lunch that I showed you last. They've all been small like this one, so I haven't bothered to show you. But yeah, I'm catching quite reasonably. Whoops, quite reasonably. I have tried, as you probably saw, down to the left, had nothing down there yet. But I'm actually going to carry on fishing now, and hopefully you've got the general idea of how all this works. So get rid of that. Put this one back. In the winter, fish metabolism slows down, of course, so they don't need much bait. And in fact, I've actually been feeding the corn down over there, probably too much by the look of things. And I've still been feeding that was 100 grains, and there's probably still at least 50 left. But as I say, I think I'll probably carry on for a short while, but hopefully you've got the general idea now. So next time it gets cold, you'll know what to do. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I must admit, I've certainly enjoyed myself today. And there's always the next time. So until that time, bye for now.